Realize, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, that the act of dua is one of the greatest actions of worship. In fact, our Prophet ﷺ said, "Ad-du'a'u mukhul ibadah." That making dua is the mukh. The mukh, translated as brains, but this isn't what mukh actually means. Mukh means the backbone. Ad-du'a'u mukhul ibadah. That making dua is the backbone of ibadah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And therefore the foundation of ibadah is to make dua to Allah. And our Lord has said making dua to Allah is all of worship. In Surah Al-Ghafir, Allah says, وَقَالَ رَبُّكُمُ ادْعُونِي أَسْتَجِبْ لَكُمْ. Your Lord has said, make dua to me, I will respond to you. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَسْتَكْبِرُونَ عَنْ عِبَادَتِي. Those who are too arrogant to worship me. Notice Allah says, make dua to me. Then He says, those who are too arrogant to worship me. So He called all of ibadah the concept of making dua. You are not dealing with a makhluk, a creation. You are dealing with al-Khaliq, and that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All that you can have, all that you can desire, all that you have umniyah for, do you think Allah Azza wa Jal is limited to your imagination? As the Hadith Qudsi says, that Ya ibadi, O my servants, لَوْ أَنَّ أَوَّلَكُمْ وَآخِرَكُمْ. If the first of you and the last of you, وَإِنسَكُمْ وَجِنَّكُمْ, and your ins and your jinn, وَمُؤْمِنَكُمْ وَكَافِرَكُمْ, and your believers and your kafir, لَوْ جَمَعُوا فِي صَعِيدٍ وَاحِدٍ. If they were all gathered simultaneously at the same place, ثُمَّ سَأَلُونِي, then they began to ask me every single desire that they had, and I gave every one of them his umniyah, his desire. مَا نَقَصَ ذَلِكَ مِمَّا عِنْدِي. That would not diminish my dominion as much as a needle when it is put into the ocean and is taken out. How much water is diminished from the ocean? That is what would happen when all of the creation simultaneously asks me for all that they want. Subhanallah, brothers and sisters, who are we dealing with? We are dealing with Khaliq as-samawati wal-ard. We are dealing with Rabbul ard. We are dealing with the one who has mafatih, the keys of the treasures of the heavens and earth. And we think that, a'udhu billah, we need to be careful what dua we make. No. Brothers and sisters, the sign of the Muslim is he always makes dua to Allah for every single need of his. Small, trivial, major, large, everything. He raises his hands to Allah and he asks Allah for that need. This is a sign of servitude. It is a sign of ibadah. Aisha radiallahu anha said, if your shoestring breaks, if your shoe strap breaks, you had better make dua to Allah to fix it. Because wallahi, if Allah has not willed, then your shoestring is not going to be fixed. If your shoe strap breaks, you better make dua to Allah. Oh Allah, help me fix my shoestring. Or else, this is what Aisha is saying. There's nothing too trivial to ask Allah Azza wa Jal for. We make dua morning and evening, night and day. We make dua for every single need of ours. And the more dua that we make, the more beloved we become to Allah. And in fact, this is a sign of Iman, that the more dua one makes, the higher one rises in the sign of Iman. It is a sign of the believer that he always asks Allah, and it is the sign of the hypocrite and the kafir that he only asks Allah at a time of need and distress. And the topic of dua is a very deep one. We will continue this inshaAllah ta'ala later on as well. But I need to mention a number of things that have been mentioned before and to reiterate them. First and foremost, dua is one of the most noble actions of worship. In fact, it is the most noble act of worship because it is the gist of worship. Why is this the case? Because, brothers and sisters, listen to this. Nothing demonstrates the relationship between the makhluk and the khaliq like dua. There is no better demonstration of the relationship between the marbub and the rabb, between the created and the creator, between the abd and his Lord, than the concept of dua. When you make dua to Allah, you are demonstrating who are you and who is Allah. You are showing that you understand you have no power, you have no qudra, you have la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. You have no power, La hawl means nothing will change. La quwwah, there is no power except with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when you make dua for a shoestring, as Aisha said, you are demonstrating to Allah, oh Allah, I recognize that until and unless you are able to give me what I need, I can never get it. And that is the height of ubudiyyah, of servitude to Allah. Secondly, you demonstrate, when you make dua, all of the names and attributes of Allah, they are implied within dua. When you make dua to Allah, you are demonstrating Allah is as-Sami', the one who hears. Allah is Al-Hayy, He's living, that's why you're making dua to Him. Allah is Al-Qadir, He's the one who's capable. Allah is Ar-Rahim, He loves you, that's why He's going to answer you. And every single attribute of Allah, and every single name of Allah, it is demonstrated when you make dua to Allah. All of the perfection of the majesty of the attributes of Allah, they are embodied when you raise your hands up to Allah and you call Him. If Allah Azza wa Jal were not loving, you would not make dua to Him. If He were not living, you would not make dua to Him. If He were not hearing, seeing, knowing, caring, forgiving, all of these, if He didn't have these attributes, you wouldn't ask Allah Azza wa Jal. But because He is Al-Hayy Al-Qadir Al-Alim Al-Ghaybi Wal-Shahada, He is As-Sami' Al-Basir, when you raise your hands to Allah, you have certainty that Allah knows you, Allah hears you, Allah loves you, Allah cares about you, and Allah has the power to give you what you want. And that is why dua is the height, it is the ultimate action of worship. One point before we finish off, because a lot of people did come and ask questions about this, and I will stand by what I said. Brothers and sisters, please pay attention to this, and I'm not quoting you some strange opinion that I am the one originating. No. Nowhere in the Quran or Sunnah does it say that dua has to be in Arabic. And in fact, it is ludicrous for anybody to claim this. You may make dua in any language, and this is by unanimous consensus of all of the scholars of Islam. You don't have to make dua in Arabic. Nobody has ever said this. Dua can be done in any language. Now, no doubt, if somebody says, what is the best dua? No doubt, I will say the best du'as are the ones found in the Quran and Sunnah. And these du'as are obviously in the Arabic language. There's no question about that. However, the Quran and Sunnah du'as are always generic and general. This is the beauty and the mercy. Every one of us has specific needs. We have specific problems in our daily lives. We have specific issues, context, problems in the work, problems in the family, problems in society, health problems. The Quran and Sunnah, in its mercy and beauty, didn't come with an encyclopedia of every single problem with dua. It didn't. It came with generic du'as. So we use those. And whoever memorizes them, alhamdulillah. But if you don't know them, or if you want to ask a specific problem, you want to cure for a specific disease, you want a specific issue happening in your family, well then, you make dua in whatever language that you know best. Because, we'll come to this tomorrow again, the number one factor that makes dua accepted in the eyes of Allah, the number one, is sincerity of the heart. That's number one. Everything else is a far number two. The number one factor that makes dua powerful is it comes from the heart. Now, how is it going to come from the heart when your tongue doesn't know what you're saying? It has to be understood what you're saying. And if you don't speak Arabic, if it's not your mother tongue, not a problem. You may make dua in any language that you know. And Allah Azza wa Jal understands all languages. Now that is not the controversial issue. All the scholars say that you may make dua in any language. What I said a few days ago, this is what a number of people came to ask questions, and I want to reiterate. And I say this very clearly. There is also nothing in the Quran and Sunnah to limit the salah and the dua in the salah to the Arabic language. Yes, the Quran must be in Arabic. Yes, the du'as that the Prophet told us we need to say, or I should say the adhkar, Allahu Akbar, Sami'a Allahu liman hamida, Rabbana wa lakal hamd, Subhana Rabbi al-Azim, Subhana Rabbi al-A'la. Yes, they must be in Arabic, and therefore even the new convert, he must be taught, even though for the time being, the first day he's a Muslim, he may read or translation, he's forgiven, but eventually he needs to learn the Arabic. Yes, but once you have said Subhana Rabbi al-A'la, Subhana Rabbi al-A'la, Subhana Rabbi al-A'la, and you're still in sajda, I said a few days ago and I will say again very clearly, in fard and in nafil it does not matter. Allah understands all languages, and you have done what you need to do, which is Subhana Rabbi al-A'la. Now you have 20 seconds, half a minute, 2 minutes. You are encouraged to make dua by the tongue of our Prophet ﷺ when he told the Sahaba that when you are in sajda, you are the closest to your Lord, so increase your dua. فَقَمِنٌ أَن يُسْتَجَابَ لَكُمْ. That is the time your dua will be responded to. Now, he spoke to the Sahaba. The Sahaba only spoke one language, and that is Arabic. Suppose he was speaking to another group. The commandment is still the same. Make dua. The Sahaba would be saying the phrases they know. Not necessarily only Quran and Sunnah phrases. Whatever dua they needed, they would formulate it in their own vocabulary. They would construct their own du'as for their own needs. Isn't that correct? Right? So if they can construct a dua in Arabic that is unique to them, why should there be any problem in understanding? We can construct a dua in our language, in Urdu, in Bengali, in English, in Swahili, in any language. It doesn't matter, and it has nothing to do with the validity of the salah, because it's not a core requirement of the salah. If you didn't make that dua, the salah would still be full, right? So this is something above and beyond the arkan of salah. Please quote me carefully. The arkan in Arabic, yes, but above and beyond the arkan. And this is something that is a standard position. It's not just a unique position coming from me. And my own teachers who were Arabs at the University of Medina, and they didn't know any other language, they were stressing this point as well. That yes, it doesn't matter what language dua can be said. Dua is an act of worship that comes from the heart. So however it comes, in whatever language, it will be accepted by Allah Jalla Jalaluhu. And we will continue more about dua inshaAllah ta'ala tomorrow and the day after. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.